Well, alrighty there. Hello, everyone. It's Dreedker
Hi.
and Muller. And,
Yeah.
wow, we had quite the open bar the other night.
We did.
All's well that ends well. That's what I'll say about that one.
Mm.
But yeah, we had a great group of guests in and a very good and supportive bunch of people in chat. So that was all very excellent for us. But we were a bit short on time that night because we started an hour later, mainly because I was at the Friday Night Tykes meetup in London. And so I was a little bit late getting things set up. And we didn't have quite as much time for super chats. So we did have a bunch of them left over. But luckily enough, we're here now. So we can do a few of them and answer your questions. How does that sound?
I think it sounds brilliant.
Alrighty. Right. So I'll bring up the first one here. It was from... I think it was Timothy Finch who said, do you ever notice that the same people who scream about how important representation is are the same ones who say it doesn't matter whenever you complain? Yeah, that's interesting, that. You know, why do you care, bro? It's not such a big issue.
Do you know, I watched Ringu. I mentioned it the last time we were together, I think, that I should, and I did. And that's not a very diverse film.
No.
Nope. Not very many of anyone in it other than one type, and that is just that is disgusting. That's what I think.
Terrible, yeah. Ruined the film. Old Boy, awful movie. Would have been better if there was a big mix of ethnicities.
A rainbow.
Yeah. AJM04 says, why did Hollywood feel the need to alter the source material? WOT, popular book, 23 years. I think we can do better. Sorry, Wheel of Time. Even PJ the Hobbit, respect the source. Yeah, I would say I'm never going to argue with that, really.
You know, I don't want to be too ridiculous. There are going to be times when you're adapting something like, oh, can't make this work. You know, like right, for lack of a better word, righteous reasons to make a change. I think there's some we can all agree on, right? That are reasonable.
We can go down the Tom Bombadil road, I think.
Yeah,
with Lord of the Rings, for example.
There's just some stuff that you might not be able to do because of budget or technology or you know, for whatever reason. They can be like nuts and bolts, like real reason, as opposed to just someone being like, I don't like this, I think it's stupid, I want to change it.
Yeah, I think it's probably the result of so many of the changes that have been made to the source material being done, one, to the detriment of the end product because the writers don't have the skill to improve on it, and two, quite often they're done for like political reasons or to earn certain like bonuses online or whatever. And so those are not righteous reasons for changing something, you know. But yeah, I guess it's like, start proving to us, Hollywood, that you can improve upon source material. Then we'll start trusting you to do it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Drive-by commenter says, I've been meaning to ask you guys, have you reviewed any Michael Mann films like Heat or Last of the Mohicans? I don't think I have reviewed any Michael Mann films, and it's a shame because I like him as a filmmaker. But yeah, both of those examples, great movies. I like them. Gleeman says, hail to the bar. Is anyone from the bar going to be watching or reviewing the One Piece live action? Love you guys. I'll be watching it. I don't know about reviewing it, but
told today by Az to make sure I see at least episode 1 for Real BBC. So I suppose I'll be watching it at least somewhat.
Well, yeah, we'll both watch it then, and we can at least talk about it as well on Open Bar this week. That'll be good. Kim Bob says, hello, payday, baby. Let's all grab a drink. Perfect. T1S says, happy birthday to Frank Gore. He did join us that night, although he was just Chris Gore this time. He hadn't been drinking, so yeah, Frank comes out later. LW says, hail to the panel. 2 MFKs, so marry, fuck, or kill for you. 1, Penelope Cruz, Salma Hayek, and Catherine Zeta-Jones. So, they're all top tier. I think if it was in their prime, right, I think I'd marry Salma Hayek.
Makes sense.
F, Penelope Cruz, and probably kill Catherine Zeta-Jones because she's Welsh. That's a valid reason.
I just don't feel I don't know about these. If you treated all of us that way, you wouldn't have Anthony Hopkins. So there you go.
That's true. Welsh genocide.
My trump card every time.
The other one, right, and I might let you field this one. This is the bottom end of the spectrum. So you've got Kathleen Kennedy, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and Brie Larson.
So
choose MFK.
listen, we can fix Brie, okay? We've seen evidence that she can be fixed, so we'll marry her.
That's logical.
I guess we'll something bad may misfortunately happen to a certain head of Lucasfilm. Who knows? And then I guess you just have to do the deed with the remaining person. There you go.
If you could put like a bag on her head or something, maybe it's
Yeah,
all right. But yeah, I can't fault your logic there. I think it's pretty sound. Intelligent Crayon Eater says, it seems that Warner Brothers is suspending projects by J.J. Abrams and Mindy Kaling, among others. Oh, no. Oh, no, don't. Please.
I heard about that. What a shame.
Any chance that Warner Brothers and other studios intended for the strike to go on so that they could get out of bad contracts? Well, there is that whole force majeure clause that's built into a lot of these contracts that allows you to just kill projects without having to pay compensation to anyone, because you can... Like, strike action falls clearly under like that term, and it's essentially like an act of God. And it's like, well, what can we do? We can't make this movie because everyone's on strike, and so the only option is for us to terminate it. So it's a good opportunity, you know. If you really don't want to make Velma season 2 or whatever, then this is your best chance. So I don't know, man. There could be like an element to this of maybe there's a reason the studios have prolonged this and just refused to really negotiate in a meaningful way. Maybe they are trying to clean house, get rid of a bunch of really crappy writers that have been dragging down projects, kill a bunch of bad movies and TV shows that they don't want to keep shelling out money for. I mean, there's logic to it. Did you see as well that the trailer for Aquaman 2 came out like yesterday?
You mean the trailer for the trailer?
Like, everyone's just like, I don't give a fuck about this movie. Please don't make it.
Everyone's making fun of it. I saw a tweet being like, didn't the first one make $1 billion though? It's like, this one ain't gonna make it. Why would you have you not been paying attention?
I just love
if it does, it'll have nothing to do with the domestic takes at all.
Yeah. Jay from Red Letter Media was like, not a single solitary human being on this planet gives a fuck about this movie.
Nope.
Completely.
Everyone knows this. Just try to get it out of the way and move on.
Archangel says, kick Muto. Well, I'm going to have to kick you, I think. Roger Rubio says, what a great panel. Have a nice cold drink, you guys. Thank you. Samson the Mighty 19 says, Drinker and Mauler, impression time from Trainspotting. Mauler says, doesn't make you proud to be Scottish, and Drinker yells, it's shite being Scottish. All right, there you go. Best Scottish accent, off you go.
So I've got to say...
So you say, doesn't it make you proud to be Scottish? Then I can respond with Ewan McGregor's line.
Doesn't it make you proud to be Scottish? Oh, wait, do I have to do it in a Scottish accent?
You have to do it in a Scottish accent, yeah. Like, I think it's Robert Carlyle or something who says it. Doesn't it make you proud to be Scottish? It's shite being Scottish. William Arkham says, hey, Drinker, love the superhero video. What do you think it'll take to revive the genre? A miracle at this point.
Good writing. So, yeah, a miracle.
I mean, like I said the other night on the stream, it's like we are well on track to have 8 superhero movies released this year. 6 of them will flop, and 2 of them have been a success. That is not a sustainable model for any genre, and they are expensive to make, superhero films. So it doesn't seem like a whole lot of incentive to keep making them, really, from a purely business standpoint. What would it take to revive it? Either branch out, so just stop doing the same Marvel like cookie cutter mold of effects heavy, you know, big CGI fight scenes and like bog standard superheroes and goofy humor. Do like different genres, branch out, make it either dark and gritty and violent, or you know, some like mystery detective thing but with like superhero elements, like whatever. There's like, you can make any genre fold into the superhero genre if you're creative enough. They just haven't been. So maybe that's one way of doing it. Or have like an amazing Superman movie come out or something, but that seems pretty unlikely at this point. And he also says, and Mauler, with audience interest in more positive EFAPs, any chance we'll get some EFAPs doing a deep dive on Lord of the Rings films?
deep dive on Lord of the Rings. I mean, we did EFAP movies on them. I probably wouldn't mind doing it again because we'll just have different guests, different vibes. But because we did one from Jurassic Park, I'm not sure what exactly will fit the mold, but I think we do want to do another one again sometime. Different guests, and so it's kind of like the happy hour sort of format. It's just nice sometimes to go back.
Yeah. Automata says, "No one tell Grace Randolph that the tomatoes have been violated. She'll be crushed."
My God.
Oh no, that's all I have in life. Daxinar says, "Hail Mauler and panel. Mr. Freeze, Arnold Schwarzenegger versus M. Bison, played by Raul Julia. Who's the more enjoyable villain in their movies?"
You can't ask me that because he's like my favorite. Hardy is Mr. Freeze. Is like I want him in everything. He's so fucking funny.
I agree 100%, but I posit to you that perhaps Raul Julia is more entertaining because he's a better actor, and so seeing him in such a ridiculous role but still giving it 100%, just it's an extra level of awesome.
Maybe, but I don't know. It's just like I said. It's pretty much just my favorite. It's funny if you're like, "What's your favorite Hardy role?" It's like, oh, I gotta choose between T2, Predator, and Batman and Robin. How could you make me?
Courtney J says $50. That's a few good sized bones for the critical doggo to tuck into. Thank you. Although you did give me $5 rather than 50, but I appreciate it anyway. Samson the Mighty says, "Drinker and Mauler, thoughts on The Boys Season 3? I thought after the moronic retardation that was She-Hulk, there would be a review of The Boys to wash the bad taste out of your mouths. What are your thoughts?"
Season 1, good. Season 2, awful. Season 3, crap. But like, fine. At times.
I kind of agree. I think I liked it slightly more than you, but yeah, I can see the problems. And yeah, when I compare it to Season 1 and how like balanced and razor sharp that was, it's just like it's not on the same level. Stuart Arbery says, "Not just Rotten Tomatoes, you know the Blacklist? It used to champion the best unproduced scripts each year." Yes, I know it well. Now reps know how to lobby so that random spec scripts are ranked high. I guess it's just like any system, isn't it? Like if it exists long enough, people will find ways to game it for their own advantage.
Yeah.
It's a shame that it happens because most of the time these are set up with pretty noble goals. They just get abused. Doey says, "And that's the bottom line because critical drinkers said so. Stone Cold in the backgrounds of Metal and Cynic. Get me and Austin on open bar, drinker." I mean, well, what can we say? He knows his stuff. I'm sure he's a great media critic as well. Michael Martin says, "Drinker, have you seen the film The Mortal Storm? It follows a biology professor during the rise of the Nazis and how he effectively gets cancelled as his students get indoctrinated by Das Message." I haven't seen that, I'm afraid. No. No, I've not seen that one. Stick Handling says, "Drinker, great Waterworld production hell video. I couldn't agree more that it's better than its reputation and holds up surprisingly well. Also, Tina Majorino grew up to be surprisingly hot." All right, was that a little girl in it? I don't know. I've not seen her in anything since that movie. It was weird.
Don't even
know
know
if it
who
killed
that
her
is.
career or what. Yeah, I was going to ask you actually because I came away from Waterworlds when I did my production hell video. I rewatched it and I was like, this isn't bad. I quite like it. I'm quite enjoying
I need to see it again. I saw it when I was a kid, and I honestly don't remember a lot other than there's water, which you can confirm, right? There is indeed water. Yeah. Okay.
And there's a world, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was doing this research for it. Like they were very slavish to having big practical sets for everything, like the boats, the sort of floating villages and stuff. It's all as much as it could be practical, and as a result, the movie looks really good. Like it hasn't aged really because there's not much CGI or anything at play, which is it's cool.
Yeah.
Matt Demon says, "Hello, Drinker. We all know your favorite movies, but what are your top 5 books of all time or just favorites in general?" I'm sure I got asked this just the other day. Yeah, favorite books. Lord of the Rings is definitely amongst them, obviously. Dune was probably, I think I'd put that in my top 5. Which one was it? Probably. See, I used to be a big fan of the Tom Clancy books. Maybe Hunt for Red October. I've read that several times and really enjoyed it. I've had the Earth Children series. I quite enjoyed that. And I've read that a couple of times. And I'm not sure what a final one would be. I need to come back to that one. OMG Puppies says, what do you think of Scott McCloud's book, Understanding Comics? I don't know what I think of it because I haven't read it, I'm afraid. T1S says, believe it or not, I was not able to stay awake for all of EFAP 250. Sorry, Lewis. Were you able to make it on for a bit, Drinker?
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah, I was down in London at the time, and I didn't get back until it was basically done. So, yeah, it was unfortunate because I normally love to be on the EFAP anniversary editions, but couldn't make it this time.
Yeah, the law there is there's this... if ever you're watching a movie or playing a game, for example, and you don't finish it, there is this creature that will arrive and haunt you until you do, called Lewis. So you want to avoid his wrath is basically all that's about. So hopefully they finished up the anniversary after they slept. Otherwise, Lewis would indeed come for them.
Yeah, don't
want that.
Bowser says, my first live open bar. Well done, man. Got off work early today and wanted to send Drinker and Mauler some love. Thank you. You guys are the best, except you, Metal. You're a dangus. Lock balls.
Damn. Locked his balls.
That's probably the worst thing that can happen, really, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't want that.
Vimorian says, hail to all. Rotten Tomatoes critics lost all credibility a long time ago. People only checked audience scores, so Rotten Tomatoes started to fake even those with verified. Yep. It's like, yeah, when you see it like that and you just realize how heavily manipulated it all is, it's just crushing, really. Like, as you're saying there in that super chat, most of us kind of lost faith in it anyway, but it used to be some kind of barometer for whether a movie was good. But yeah, everything's just manipulated and controlled now, and it sucks. Grant says, what are your favorite Disney movies of any type? Well,
any type.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up in the Disney Renaissance period, so like I'm always going to have like fond childhood memories of like Aladdin and The Lion King and Little Mermaid, stuff like that. Like I really enjoyed those movies as a kid. So yeah, it'd probably be those. Really, I think that
does
was
it count to say like the best of Pixar since they'd be owned by Disney?
I'll allow it in this case.
That would be a favorite era of mine when they were just popping out banger and banger and banger. Good times.
Imperator says, the only problem with the video game industry is that they are making the same mistakes the film studios are, just twice as fast. The bubble will burst eventually, I think. I mean, it's creeping in there, isn't it? And you're starting to see the pushback to it. So I don't know where it's headed, but I don't think it's going to be anywhere good. I mean, really, like at this point, how many AAA games are like genuinely great quality, and how many of them are just cash grab, you know, sequels or remakes or whatever, just like movies? Just kind of feels that way.
Yeah.
Meme Life says, The Bourne Legacy is my favorite film in the franchise. I'm headed to a kickboxing camp in prep for a big tournament. Wish me luck. I wish you luck, sir. I hope it goes well. And The Bourne Legacy, is that the final one, or is that
fourth
the Jeremy
one?
Renner one?
Well, fifth one. How many are there?
There's like 5, isn't there? Because like Matt Damon did his 3, and then there was like this weird outlier, which was like they tried to replace him with Jeremy Renner, and then they just brought him back again. So hold on.
Jeremy Renner's jumped into all kinds of IPs, hasn't he?
I know, I never quite made a go of it, and it's a shame because I like him as an actor. Yeah, The Bourne Legacy is Jeremy Renner's one. So that one's just weird. I don't really know what to make of that one. Yeah. Wolfbane Flyer says, hello, gentlemen. I'm wondering what your thoughts are on why the Barbie movie is doing so well despite it being woke. Well, we've talked about that a fair bit. I think the prevailing theory seems to be that, well, it was really efficiently marketed to women specifically, and they haven't had a movie like that. And
very unique and different. It felt like an event. And yeah, it can't be denied that you have to check out, like, their marketing goes a lot more beyond what you'd imagine for Barbie. They had a hell of a lot of grand efforts, and apparently the Barbenheimer thing helped both films quite a bit.
Right. Yeah. So. Somehow managing to turn a movie like that into a summer event I mean, that's an achievement right there.
And let's not forget Barbie, like Mario, like there are people who are just like, I'll watch that. That's a thing. Barbie is really, really popular. There's never been a movie of that level in live action of a Barbie, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. It's still. I'm not going to pretend in any way, shape, or form that I thought it would make that kind of money, and yet it did.
Yeah, there's, life is stranger than fiction sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
The Tarantino, not just Quentin Tarantino, but the Tarantino says Aqua They is coming out next year. Well, apparently it's still this year. It's like 3 months from now, and they've only just released their first trailer for it. That's interesting.
Yeah.
They have got no faith in that movie. T1S says, I love that Batgirl has well and truly become a verb for making dubious films disappear into the ether. Maybe they'll Batgirl it. Yeah. That's the film's lasting legacy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The movie that never was.
Yeah.
Darian Murphy says, whenever a film gets big organizations, their hands in there and they have input into the narrative, I fear those are the changes happening to Joker. I mean, I do not know what to make of Joker 2. From what Chris was saying, he seems quite excited about it if it's done right. I'll reserve judgment.
They would be idiotic not to give Todd a lot of control and to let Joaquin Phoenix loose, so to speak. As far as I'm aware, there was a lot that was improv in the original. Like when he punched the clock for punching out, I think the work time thing. Apparently that wasn't scripted.
Oh, right.
And there was concerns he might have broken his hand. Like there's and just despite that, it's a very like emotionally raw and suitable moment sort of thing. There's a lot of stuff that's in the movie that is like, how do I put this? Stuff you may not have expected from a controlled group of people trying to make a movie for money with a big IP. So yeah, I hope they do the same thing with the second one, and I hope the fact that it is a musical is a reason to think that it isn't under strict control from a lot of like committees and stuff, that it is instead its own thing.
Yeah.
Really hope that we end up with something good, but I'm more than ready for it to be shit as well.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's either going to be monumentally shit or like a piece of absolute genius, and there's probably not much in between.
No.
It seems like one way or another, it won't be boring anyway.
Yeah.
Mark James says, loving the discussion, Drinker, watching from Cooper in Fife. Thank you. And yeah, what a lovely part of the country that is. Orion Stark gave us $100, so thank you. Says, please review Babylon 5, The Road Home. Well, it's been a long time since I've ventured into the world of Babylon 5, but I will keep it under consideration. Campbell Patterson says, Muller and Drinker are the Michael Jackson and Prince of film critics. Which one's which? Wait a minute, they're both dead. What are you trying to
say? Had lots of horrible things happen. I don't want the nice things to happen.
Yeah. Bill Sotheby says, yeah, some of these are a response to John, who was on, who messaged us that night. I won't read those ones out because that's kind of all been resolved now, in a good way. Things turned out well. But Tammy Bundleballs says, are you going to review The Equalizer 3? I am, yeah. Planning to do that. I've been away all weekend, so I'm only back now, and I've finally got time to watch it. Demon Dog says, Mahler, if Az makes you watch Cowboy Bebop, you should make him watch FMAB.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Ah, right, okay.
I'm still waiting to cash my Ragnarok chip with him. I think he's going to give me a game that I have to play, but I'll make him play Ragnarok. And I'll win because whatever he gives me won't be as long as that.
That's true. Playing the long game. Zach Toll says, did y'all see the Eli Ross Thanksgiving teaser trailer dropped yesterday? Another Grindhouse fake trailer is given a real release. No, I haven't seen that, actually. Have you, Mullen?
I don't think I have either. No.
I'll have to check that out. Auto Deutsch VAG says, you said before that Cruise is the last movie star. I think also Leonardo DiCaprio is a good shout. Yeah, that's fair. He's an amazing actor, does great films, and always bangs models. True. Always look forward to DiCaprio films. Thoughts? Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. I don't think he's got quite the track record of big budget, big blockbusters that Cruise has. Because he's done a lot of like not smaller movies, but just ones that are like well regarded and stuff, but they haven't like been massive like crowd pleasers sort of thing. But yeah, I think he still would qualify, I think, as one of the last true movie stars that will generate interest by being in a film. And he's probably got enough clout in Hollywood that he can get projects off the ground that he wants to do. So again, not many actors can do that. Mr. Taco Boutique says, from Alfred Hitchcock, Ridley Scott, and David Fincher, who is the best director with no writing credits? Yes, none of them have written a film. Has Alfred Hitchcock not written?
I wonder if that's like a technicality in terms of, because I know I've seen plenty of videos of like him talking about the stories he wishes to tell, so to speak. But I wonder if it's just that he's never been credited that way. Because I mean, you have to assume that every director has at least somewhat, if not a significant influence on how things progress. Even the the editor could be credited as a writer to some extent.
Yeah.
But I mean, Fincher would be one of mine. Like that's really interesting that he's not done any writing, quote unquote.
I think as well, like, this is a tricky one because it's like, do you have to judge them by the standards of their time in terms of like what filmmaking techniques were popular and what technology was available? Because if Alfred Hitchcock movies were to be released today, I think a lot of them would be seen as a bit hokey, and that's not like a criticism of him. It's just like that's how the technology was back then in terms of what you could show and like how you could frame shots and everything. But I feel like maybe Ridley Scott is where I'm going. Like at their peak. Because
I mean, it makes sense, yeah.
I there's something just, I don't know how you would describe it with his movies. They just look so rich in detail and like the way the cinematography looks, the way the environments are designed, they just look gorgeous. Like Blade Runner to this day looks absolutely beautiful. When you get those shots of Alien, the interior of the Nostromo, he makes it look like 100% believable spacecraft. All of that stuff just takes real skill, and I really appreciate that.
What about Kingdom of Heaven?
Let's not talk about that one.
Okay, anyway.
I mean, from a cinematography point of view, it looks nice.
Looks great.
It's just it's just really boring. Gator159 says, Sam Devereaux is the narrator of Ryan Drake audiobooks. Okay. Would a VIP lounge be 2 years too late? Probably. The original super chat from the Dark Hour live stream. Okay. It's a bit weird that I didn't know the name of the narrator from my Ryan Drake books. It's probably because it has been a couple of years since we signed the contracts and brought him in. So yeah, the name was familiar. Weirdly, I just couldn't place him. I don't know. Like, would it be interesting to have a sort of audio guy in? A guy who does a lot of narration and stuff. Could be actually just to, ask him about how they do different accents, different characters with all, basically just one voice, but you're playing multiple different people at the same time. Jordan Dakin Mimi says, hey Drinker and crew, since Rings of Power and the Halo TV show are being shit, I've tried writing myself and have finished a fanfic for a Halo movie, and now I've started an original idea. Have a drink. Excellent. Well done, man. And yeah, I think that's how a lot of people get their careers started. Like they use fanfiction as like a bit of a platform to get them started in the process of storytelling, and ideas mature and stuff, and before you know it, you've got something completely original that you can work on then. So good one. Call sign Alucard says, get a dog. It will love you unconditionally and depend upon you to not starve. Just ask Chris Gore. What's your top 5 favorite dog movies, Chris? Chris can't obviously answer that. I don't know. Like, how many movies have we got with dogs in them?
Oh, there's a few, but there's a lot of ones that come to mind first, the ones where they get killed.
I know. That's like, to this day, I am never going to watch Marley and Me. Just not
That's
doing
one of the famous ones, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
Obviously, I Am Legend.
Yep,
Remember that?
I remember that. Yeah,
I haven't
The
seen that
Fly
in
2,
ages.
there's a horrible dog moment in that. There's comedies as well. There was like Turner and Hooch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's some good ones for sure. Not Kevin Feige says, quick shout out to my boy Abelio. He makes movie and TV reviews with Final Fantasy style pixel art. Hey Leo, get fucked. Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty cool way of doing reviews, I guess. Timmy04 says, curious, why didn't you like the Snowpiercer movie? While I wasn't a fan of the ending, I really enjoyed the rest of the movie. Is that for
I remember
you or
liking
me?
it.
Is that the
Snowpiercer?
Chris Evans one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Ed Harris, I think, is at the end of it, right? He's like the boss of the train.
Yeah. I don't know how much relation it bears to the books because I think they go in a bit of a different direction.
It's a train drinker. How many directions can it go?
Well, yeah, I see what you did there. But yeah, I find myself often questioning the mechanics of it. If I can get away with that.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, this seems really daft that like this amount of people could survive for this length of time on a train. Like, and why does it have to keep moving? And yeah.
Because that's just how that works. Shut up.
It's like, just a thing. Yeah. Nerd this says, fan of Drinker and Mauler for a while. Have you done or would you do reviews of True Grit and White Men Can't Jump? Contrast modern racial and gender writing. Yeah, what would we get out of True Grit? Really, it's like a pretty classic Western story. But yeah, like Rooster Cogburn is a great character, I suppose. So it would make for. I would definitely be happy to review it. Put it that way. And White Men Can't Jump. God, that's an old one. That I haven't seen that since I was about 13 or 14. So it's been quite a while. Realistic Delinquent says random film talk said he would love to be on BSUP. That's so that's Little Platoon's show, best show in the universe, probably. There we go.
Wait, did they say the Random Film Talk wanted to be on that show or was on that show? Sorry.
He would love to be on it.
Yeah, I mean, pretty neat show. We had him just recently on EFAP. Random Film Talk is good company. We should get him on the open bar as well.
Well, yeah, I'm not familiar with his work, but I would happily, take your recommendation. Let's get him in.
Hard to recommend a channel that makes really long videos, but that is something that he does, covering Rings of Power, Barbie, some other stuff. So it's a bit of entertainment for those out there.
All right. Well, pass on the invitation.
Yes.
Intelligent Crayon Eater says, for Disney topics, should have on Valiant Renegade, WDW Pro for their scoops and analysis, or Clownfish TV for their daily dose of dismal Disney rants. Nice. Patrick Mulligan says, I see a Metal Commander, but no Jay. Get Jay and Metal on to talk TNG. Get Destiny for his legendary media takes, and get YMS on to become friends.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get on well. Dredge says, not related, but on October 6th, I should be going in to get my brain tumor removed. A little scared, but hopefully it goes well. Cheers, y'all. God bless and stay safe. The same to you, man. I hope the operation goes well and it's 100% successful and you make a full recovery. So best of luck to you. Barricade says, hey, folks, appreciate your shit as always. Thank you. To John, we're all here together. Breathe and find peace in anything other than what you're suggesting. Be a warrior, not an numpty. Well, I'm glad he took that advice. Patrick Mulligan says, Muller, where is Jay? Is she safe? Is she all right?
Absolutely. A lot of content creators, they have their time where they're not making stuff or not coming on streams. Not everybody is like myself or Drinker or others, where we're putting out videos sometimes once per year, sometimes once per day, but whatever range, and then also streaming. A lot of content creators, they just do like the one every once in a while, and they do a lot of stuff IRL, or they don't want to spend as much time on the internet, or they do and they just don't want to spend as much time publicly. Jay, as far as I'm aware, is doing just fine. Spoken with him recently. Good stuff. It's all good. Actually talked a bit of Futurama because the new stuff's coming out. Not as good as the classic stuff, but maybe even worth recommending. It's not cringe, the new Futurama.
Wow. Impressive.
It's on Disney Plus, which feels weird.
Oh yeah, you're recommending a Disney Plus show. What?
Oh well, it's on Hulu, but also Disney Plus. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird for us international people. Like Hulu's, I guess, for Americans. Pathkeeper says, "Hey Drinker, has the lack of principles with heroes led to the decline of the genre? Everyone seems based on family and revenge. Batman's vow not to kill versus Joker is an example that created tension that was fun to watch." Yeah, I mean, I think the lack of moral underpinnings or like teaching the audience really shitty moral lessons is kind of a staple of a lot of superhero movies now, especially if they come from Marvel. So I don't know if that's just the writers being too stupid to recognize what they're actually saying, or like tripping over themselves to get their current day political points across and just missing the bigger picture. But either way, yeah, it's not helping, that's for sure. Barricade 13 says, "Drinker, I never said thanks for using my quote at the end of one of your videos a year or two ago. So here, thanks." Thank you. I'm not sure what the quote was. The Gourd King says, "Rachel took the insufferable gauntlet from Brie." Yeah, I don't think she gave it up without a fight, but Rachel won in the end, I think. WLMG says, "Rachel Zegler is the smuggest Zoomer in the world." True. Kalashnikov says, "Watch Dragged Across Concrete. It's tense and raw and real." Nice.
All right.
Corey Vox says, "Permanent solution to a temporary problem. Don't do it." Agreed. Rob Robinson says, yeah, so I'll read this one out just because it was a very generous super chat and I don't want to like the guy to miss out. So, John, I was in the same position as you 10 years ago, lost my family and my marriage, living on ramen noodles and taking care of my kids. My story, but trust me, I was there. There is light at the end of the tunnel. I wish you well. Keep up the good fight. Love you and God bless. Pretty admirable sentiments there. And yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Mr. Takubuti says, "Correction, I meant Clint Eastwood, not Hitchcock. I don't know why my brain malfunctioned there." Okay, so yeah. Swap out Alfred Hitchcock from that list of great directors and put Clint Eastwood in there instead. I think I would still stick with Ridley Scott. But Eastwood's directed some great stuff over the years.
He has indeed.
Also from the same guy, says, "I know the One Piece LA live action is not good. They've made changes that make it worse and failed to make changes where the manga is worse. I don't recommend." Well, I mean, it's great, an interesting take, but I think you might be in the minority on this one. People seem to be generally liking it. I mean, I'll reserve judgment until I've seen it. I just won't have anything to compare it to. I'm just going to judge it on its own merits. Great Khan says, "Glad to see all 5 pixels of you, Drinker, on the live stream." What? I get at least 10. For a minute there, I almost wanted to visit the cesspit that is London. And was Mauler even really there? I didn't see any interdimensional rips in space-time.
I think some people joked that I was, and so then other people were like, "Oh, I didn't see him." I was like, "Oh my god, was he there secretly?" He's like, "No, I wasn't there."
It was...
if I was gonna go there as a secret the whole time, what a fucking waste it would be. Like, to travel that far for no reason at all. Well, if it's in Britain. I thought they like, in an American one, I would never actually... Because I was talking about it on, like, I think an FNT, like, would it be funny if I went there, like, incognito? But, you know, I wouldn't do it for the whole thing.
Yeah. I think it's funny though, like I think it was all based because like they did like a group shot when they were at dinner or something, and I'm pretty sure it was like Shad's wife or something, like clearly like a short woman, like with the face like covered over by a smiley, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, Mauler's there."
The small woman.
Yeah. Razor Baron says, "Chris, are you a fan of Meat Puppets, the band?" We'll never know. Also from Great Khan, "You legends seen Joe Pickett season 2 or The Old Man? I liked actually looking forward to the next episode for a change. I had some issues with dragging out some scenes, but that's my only real complaint. A palate cleanser nevertheless." Sounds good to me then. Chris B says, "Let's bring back a Hollywood where we had starlets inventing radar to beat the Germans, actors being actual secret agents, and so forth." Yeah, I can't remember which actress it was, right? But she was legit involved in like the US war effort, and she ended up inventing like this new radar system for tracking enemy planes just on a whim. That's pretty cool stuff. Ceteris Parabolus says, Do the real Star Wars fans, in quotations, want to keep saying Andor is the boring one? Well,
I mean, to be fair, I try to be chill with that sort of thing. Like if someone said I didn't like Andor because it was boring, I'd be like, okay, you know, I guess. Like I don't blame anybody for finding Andor boring. Is what I'm trying to say. It's okay.
But like, Ahsoka is genuinely boring.
Just like it's okay to find that boring, but that one's actually boring.
Yeah. That's just objectively boring. Southeastern Kaiju says, appreciate the content, you all. Hail. Thank you. John Doe says, surprised to see you back home so quickly, Drinker. It was great to meet you, and I'll take the super chat to recommend Slayers to Mauler too. Thank you, man. And yeah, well, I pretty much, the next morning, I got straight on my train and went back up to Scotland so that I could get ready for Open Bar.
Yeah.
Metal Burner says, evening, gents. Metal band suggestion time. Austrian Death Machine, a vocalist impersonating Arnold Schwarzenegger with song titles such as Let Off Some Steam, Bennett, and See You at the Party, Richter. That sounds amazing. John Alstrom says, hey, gents, if you had a Hail Mary moment to save Star Wars, what would you do as a last attempt? Also, hi, Muller and Mutal. What could you do to save? If it was just off the wall, you know, anything goes, let's just try something crazy. What would you do?
To, what was it again? Save
Star Wars.
It's so funny, isn't it? Because you could get to the point of saying, focus on one character having some kind of difficult journey that they overcome. You're like, whoa, that's radical, dude. Like, what a crazy experimental idea that you got there. Like, yeah, I don't know. But I don't know, like a for real answer, let's go nuts. And you know the next project's going to be like a 200 million budget at least. How about instead of that, we get 10-20 million dollar projects and we give it to directors who we know are talented, but that have a passion for Star Wars and want to add to the sort of landscape. They don't want it because they want the prestige. They want it because they like the IP. Let's find a bunch like that. Maybe some unknowns that we get impressed from their past work, and have them all focus on different parts of the galaxy that barely cover the galactic sort of issues to the point where they could slot in and they don't disrupt anything. They're their own stories in the world of Star Wars. And you know what? As long as one of them's a banger, it might pay for the rest.
Well, those are actually pretty good ideas. I think I can beat it though, right? Stick with me on this one. So, Rey and Chewbacca, they discover a map in a temple, right? That they can plug into the hyperdrive on the Millennium Falcon. And so they do it. And it takes them to a different galaxy. Whoa. They land near a populated planet and they get out and they're looking around. And it's like, well, it's this habitable world. What is this place? And then this figure lands beside them and he's in a suit of armor. And it opens up and it's Iron Man.
Oh, boom. My God. Billions of dollars instantly.
$1 billion movie right there. And then it's like they have to fight alongside the Avengers.
Iron Man and Rey versus Palpatine 2, his clone.
Yeah, Palpatine's clone returned, and he's got an even bigger Death Star that shoots Star Destroyers at you.
I think we should just have a big laser. That's his way. It's just a laser. There's no like machine or structure. It's just laser. Like that's all it is. And it just goes wherever he wants.
Yeah. And that's like, honestly, I think that could save Star Wars. I think.
Yeah, okay. Screw my plan. My thing was stupid videos.
It would save the MCU as well. I mean, really, what's not to like? So let's do it.
Have Rey and Captain Marvel meet, and that there's a $1 trillion idea.
Yeah, like they do like the Predator handshake, you know, like Dylan and Dutch did.
Oh
and
yes,
they're just like game recognizes game. Perfect. Ezra Taylor says, "Are any of you gentlemen planning to watch Godzilla -1? The first trailer just dropped. I mean, the trailer looked good.
Maybe.
So I'd watch it. Yeah, like I haven't had a good monster movie in ages. The Meg 2 does not count, by the way. JMD Reed says, A Mandalorian Jedi, the most fan fiction of characters. Yeah, it sounds like it. She also doesn't have any force abilities yet. I'm sure she'll be the best ever eventually. Holden his space Kaok. Anyway,
Oh.
anyone seen The Last Voyage of the Demeter? It's quite unique take on a Dracula story. Found it to be quite good. Was only one instance of super overt woke stuff that completely takes you out of the movie. Yeah, I've heard all right things about it, so I'd be up for watching it for sure.
Yeah, same.
Ideal X gave us $10, so thank you. Never Not Nervous says, greetings and salutations, good sirs. Drinker, I had the opportunity to see John Carpenter's They Live at the theatre this past weekend, and now I'm sitting here watching Open Bar and wondering if your sunglasses allow you to see what Mahler really looks like. Anyway, love the show. Hail to the panel, and y'all keep chewing bubblegum and kicking ass. Nothing can pierce the veil of Mahler's logic. I cannot see what his true form is, ever.
Wouldn't want to hurt Drinker anyway, so, you know.
Well, yeah, I've heard if you actually behold him for real, you just go instantly insane and then explode. So I don't want that for myself. Cassius says, Drinker, come on, man. Mary told us that the hold-on maneuver was 1 in a million.
Yeah, they fixed it.
Yay.
They fixed it.
Max G says, hello, gentlemen. Mahler, I highly recommend you read the One Punch Man manga. The first season of anime was great, but sadly the second season is terrible and cut a lot of the story from the manga. P.S. Always sub and never dub is the #1 rule with anime.
I agree. And yeah, that's what I've heard. I haven't seen season 2 yet. I don't know if I want to. Just because of what people said about it. I love season 1.
The fan with no name says, idea. A New Republic assassin droid uses the space between spaces to travel back in time, and the first question it asks is, have you seen Thrawn Connor? I think it's a winner. Let's do it. KCW says, why does Metal look like an NPC in Oblivion?
What? Didn't realize he did, but all right.
Christopher Pratchett says, Drinker, do you know you have your own IMDb page? Yeah, apparently I do. Yeah, like you've probably got one too, Mahler and Gary and all the rest of us. If you've done anything, someone makes one for you. Grendo Vivat says, the stakes have never been higher. Sure, Dave, maybe it's just me, but I think stakes were higher during the OT, you know, what with 2 Death Stars and all.
With planets exploding. Let's not compare, okay?
Yeah.
They blew up 6 in Force Awakens. That was way bigger stakes. Oof.
All at once. I hated that film now when I think about it. I hate everything it represents.
Yeah.
So it's a Death Star, but it's even bigger, and it can destroy multiple planets all at once.
Whoa.
Fuck off, J.J. Abrams, you prick. Jake Mooneyham says, can we get a palate cleanser review or watch stream of something genuinely good, like Farscape? I'd like that.
You wanted to do a Red Dwarf or something, right?
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, we should do that. I need to bring back Happy Hour, actually. Aminus says, Drinker, you strong, independent alcoholic. Where does one find an agent to submit a screenplay? Well, usually, I don't know how it is in America, but if you're in the UK, there's just online directories of all the different agencies, where they're based and what genres they specialize in. Literally, a quick Google search will bring up most of them, and you can just find what their submission guidelines are, and away you go. Maybe you'll get lucky and they'll agree to represent you. Marcus Muyat says, I think the multiverse thing is part of a larger problem of writers using a not real setting to cop out of trying to make things feel realistic. I think, yeah, I agree. I think maybe the word you're looking for is believable rather than realistic, because you can have unrealistic worlds, but they can still stay believable as long as they maintain their own internal consistency. Like, they set rules and they stick to them.
That's the key.
And
continuity starts the second we see or hear anything. It's you have to tell us how everything works, you know?
Yeah. And it is one of the most retarded of arguments, where it's like, well, this is a fictional universe with lightsabers and magical skills and stuff. Like, surely anything can go. Or, you know, you're questioning like how long it takes a spaceship to get from one place to another. It's like, yeah, if you've already established that it takes 10 hours before and now it takes like 5 minutes, yeah, I'm going to have issues. It's just keeping it realistic, keeping it believable, by keeping it consistent. Jeffrey Hallam says, fun listen, guys. Thanks for the stream. Modern filmmakers must get hot during the summer. They don't know how fans work. Good one. R-Tunes says, was surprised to see you at Anime Matsuri last month. Did you stay to watch the J-Rock show Saturday evening and catch the insane Guitar Kick spin live? You missed out if not. No, I did not go to that stuff because I am not like 15 years old anymore. But yeah, I was just as surprised as everyone else to be at Anime Matsuri. But it was a good chance to hang out with Gary and some of the other guys. So yeah, I wanted to go when I had the opportunity. And it was a good weekend. I enjoyed it. Samuel Shafiq says, funnily enough, those member berries and fighting is exactly what the Picard Season 3 fans claimed was a good show. It wasn't. I mean, I disagree on that one. I don't think they relied solely on member berries, but they had a bit of respect for their own characters, which is, sets it apart from the other seasons of Picard.
Yeah, there's got to be a stricter definition there. It's not like just because they all reunited on the bridge, right? Like, I'm aware of that. You can have moments like that, and they can be more than member berries. That's kind of what we advocate for. There was a lot, from what I gathered, reason for them to end up in that place in that way, doing those things.
Yep,
which is what you got to do.
Yeah. Roger Rubio says, I do want to shout out Equalizer 3. It was really good. Nice. I'm looking forward to watching it. Vinay says, as the superhero movies and IP go down, a trend of remaking anime is going to blow up in the next few years. The success of One Piece will increase the greed. I think you're shockingly right on that one, actually. Yep, they'll probably do it. No Quarter, No Mercy says, I would love to see more movies based on Arthurian legends and done well. Knights, princesses, dragons, chivalric masculinity, and graceful femininity. Well, don't hold your breath, because this is modern Hollywood we're talking about, and those things are antithetical to them. The next one is kind of a long one, so indulge me while I read through it. It's a 4-parter. For John, Victor Frank once said, to live life as though you're living it for the second time. He was a psychologist who lived through the Holocaust and lost his family and friends, and after he was freed, despite being immensely depressed, he noticed that certain survivors were handling themselves better than others. Ultimately, he found the common trait amongst these survivors was the ability to be appreciative of life's most minute gifts. Though he was enslaved, starved, and tortured, he would take time to appreciate the beauty of the sunrise. Frankel could have cut his rope at any time. Instead, he survived, lived until 92, created his own form of therapy, and wrote a book that sold over 16 million copies. The world was better because Frankel decided to live, and the world will be better if you do the same. That is a pretty damn good response there, I would say.
Yeah, I'm relatively familiar with that stories. It helps people understand, like, even through the worst hardships, a lot of great things can arise later. Lots of change can still happen.
Yeah, there's always possibilities, and there's always opportunities to turn things around. Sebastian Aratola says, just tuned into the podcast, but has your opinion on Ahsoka altered at all since the premiere? Nope. Not really.
The 4th episode is the one that everybody was like praising. We did our episode on it, of course, talking about it, but it still had a plethora of writing issues, but that you got a little bit of Ray Stevenson being able to act slightly, and there's no criticism of him. I'm desperate to let them do anything in any of these shows. It's the one thing that I find absolutely insane, that you're a showrunner and you don't want scenes where actors have to actually reach their limits. Why?
Yeah.
I'll give it to him, like in the Kenobi show, Obi-Wan, in his final conversation with Anakin and Vader and stuff, like Ewan McGregor is like tearing up, I think. So that's something, as much as I don't like the scene itself, but I'm just like, I'm struggling to find examples where actors actually have to try instead of just phoning it in, like Rosario Dawson has been, as well as basically everybody in the Ahsoka show. It's been insane.
I mean, they look positively bored in this show. Like, yeah. I can do so much better than this, but it's just not worth it because I don't care, and no one else cares, so why bother? T1S says, okay, so Bloodborne is out, but do you lads think Gary would be capable of playing the Dead Space remake on easy? He's a pro at Witcher 3 after all. I think he can get through Dead Space.
No. After seeing him play Gollum, I now would only put him on classic arcade games. I wouldn't want to put him on games that you can move in more than 2 directions. The poor guy, he's not familiar with it. We need to go about a full-on trading course. I thought he was more familiar with games than that. I didn't realize that he was like my dad.
Yeah, but it's endearing. He's trying.
Yes, well, to be honest with you, I'd like to see him stream like Tetris or Pac-Man. It would be fun. Space
Yeah.
Invaders, you know.
I just had a vision there of him doing the space combat scenes in Dead Space, where it's like you're really moving in multiple dimensions. Then that's going to be tough.
No, it's not happening. Though it'd be fun to see him get terrified by the game if that would happen.
Evan Rose, this is the final one, says, in defense of the person who created multiverses in fiction, Michael Moorcock, he used it to connect his works and stories and tie characters as archetypes, not evil, good, or exact clones of themselves. I mean, that is fair enough. It's probably just, you know, it's been so horribly overused and misused in modern Hollywood that I just despise the concept now. But it was probably like a really good idea when it first came out. It's just, my God, I hate it now. I hate how it's abused in superhero movies.
True.
There's just not much that could put me off a film now more than it being, oh, it's a multiverse story. No.
They do it if that's apparently what Star Wars is going toward with the World Between Worlds. We're getting multiverse. Have you heard of Ahsoka the White? Have you heard of this?
Nope. Don't know. Don't care.
Apparently that's what we're heading toward in this show because it's in Rebels. It's in like a flash forward or a future episode or whatever the hell. But she's like a god person of the Force, and she'll be wearing a white outfit, and it'll be like a reincarnated version of her or whatever. And I was just sitting there thinking, like, Ahsoka the White.
What could this be a reference
to? Are you shitting me? Like, what? And apparently the fans are excited for it. I was like, holy fuck, there must be so much context that makes this better than it sounds. There must be.
Well, you say there must be, but I wouldn't. It's Dave Filoni.
I wouldn't hold your breath.
Yeah, don't expect much. Anyway, everybody, that is the last of the super chats from the other night. So I just want to say big thanks to everyone for tuning in on that stream. Thanks for providing so much support to John. Like I say, I'm pleased to say that it all had a happy outcome. And yeah, thank you for joining us for this little catch-up stream. It's very much appreciated, and we appreciate your generosity.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Anyway, that's all we've got today. So go away now.
Bye.